So today I'm going to show you how I created this makeup look. I asked in a poll quite recently if you wanted to see more makeup related videos and you said yes. So I wanted to show you how I create this look since I've done it quite a lot in my recent videos. This has actually been my go-to autumn look so far. So I hope you enjoy it, and if you do, remember to comment down below so I can make more videos like this for you guys. Without further ado, let's get into it. Since my skin isn't as bad as it could have been, I'm just gonna go in with the Revolution Conceal and Define. I do have the super size one in the shade C0.5. I'm gonna place this where I need the most coverage, and then I'm gonna mix this with some moisturizer and just have a lighter coverage where I don't feel like I need full coverage. And I also usually use concealer as my eyeshadow base because it makes the eyeshadow sit better. Then I'm just taking some on my hand and mixing it with moisturizer. I'm just using the Neutrogena Refreshingly Clean one. And then I'm just dabbing that around my nose and at my upper cheekbone and under eye area. I'm also taking a bit at my T-zone just to lighten it a bit up and blend better with the full coverage concealer. And then I just took some at the top of my nose just to highlight the nose a tiny bit. I probably look like a pale ghost right now, but that is fine. I don't think I'm gonna do bronzer now, but I'm gonna blush it a bit up and it will look better with more makeup laying down. When you use a little sponge like this, especially around the eyes, remember to dab and not stroke, because dabbing is way more soft on the skin and you don't want to stretch the skin around your eyes. I'm just going in with a blush and a highlighter. I'm using the Makeup Revolution London, the Opulence blush palette. I usually like to be quite heavy on the blush. I'm focusing this blush on the upper part of my cheek, where you usually think you want to have highlight. That's where I focus my blush. And I go from the cheek and up a bit at the side and over my nose. After the blush, I go in with the highlighter from the same palette. I think it looks nice with a strong blush because the highlight will also be quite strong, and when you get the eye look on place, this doesn't look too crazy anymore. The reason that I haven't done my brows yet is because I go over the brows with the highlighter and I don't want the brow itself to be full of glitter or highlighter, so that's why I do the brows now. So for my brows, I'm just gonna use a little pomade. I use the Makeup Mekka one in the darkest shade, and I'm just going in with a little brush. I usually start laying my brows by making one line all the way underneath my brow. I don't necessarily do this in one stroke, just to map out where I want my brows, and then I fill from there. To not make my brows look too crazy, I go in with a quite light or small amount of product, and then I use a brush to just fluff it a bit up and look a bit softer. Now that the face is done, we can finally move on to the eyes. Eyes is always my favorite part. I think it's a bit funner, so I really do enjoy making eyeshadow looks. Since I've done a lot of the yellow eye look lately, I wanted to show you how I do it. And for that look, I use two palettes. I use my self-made Colourpop palette. This is a palette made of shades that I picked myself from the website, from the Colourpop website. And the other palette I use is the Doughnut Bakery 9 Bits eyeshadow from Makeup Mekka. I go in with the darker yellow hair and the lighter yellow hair and some of the brown shades, but if you do have brown and yellow shades in your palettes, just use them. As the base of this eyeshadow look, I go in with the Colourpop shade Tiki. This is a lighter, quite strong yellow, and I go in with this one because I want the rest of the look to have quite a strong yellow to it. And just to get this as strong as possible, I go in with my finger. When I've covered the entire lid with the yellow shade with my finger, I do go in with a fluffy brush with the same shade and just soften up the look a bit and make sure the yellow really sits on the eye. When you have the intensity of the yellow that you want, I go in with the darker yellow. This is from the Doughnut Bakery palette, the shade called Toffee. I go in with that one just to darken up the edges a tiny bit. I also go a tiny bit underneath the eye just to make the top part look cohesive with the under part of the eye. Since it's not evening and I'm not going out or anything, I do want this look to be a bit lighter, so I don't want to darken it up too much. So I'm going in with the light brown shade called Butternut from Makeup Mekka Doughnut palette. I'm just gonna use this to deepen the eyes a tiny bit more. I also do go in with this shade with a smaller brush underneath my eyes. After that, I go in with a fluffy brush just to soften off the edges a bit and underneath the eye. I don't want this shade to be too strong underneath because I'm going in with a warmer, darker shade later. To lighten up this look a tiny bit, I go in with the shade Now and Sun from Colourpop. This is a white shade with gold undertone in the corner of my eyes, and I do brush that a tiny bit up just to make the eyes look a bit more popping. I then go in with the shade Peanut Glaze from the Doughnut palette just at the middle of my eyelid just to make the eyes a bit more popping and a bit more exciting. This shade goes really well with the tiki yellow eyeshadow and this look together. I feel like it blends so nicely that you don't really need to use a lot of time blending it together. Now, I did say that I'm not going out and I don't want this look to be too dark, but I do love some darkness and some dramaticness to my eyes. So I'm going in with a tiny bit of darker shade just close to my eyes. So for the under eye, I'm going in with the chocolate chili color from the Doughnut palette, and I feel like this shade gives a really nice, like, dramatic effect to the eye, having a bit of a reddish brown underneath the eyes. So this I'm also just going in with a tiny bit underneath my eyes at the corner and meeting the eye at the middle underneath. I'm also going to use the same shade to map out an eyeliner wing at the top of my eye. Then I'm done with the eyeshadow itself, but I do have this brown liner. This is actually a brow liner, but I usually use this as an eyeliner since I think lining my brows takes too much time. Since this is for brows, this is really thin, which I feel like is a really nice doing eyeliner. So I'm just going to do a really tight and small liner with a tiny wing at the sides. So for the part that we left underneath the eyes, I'm going in with this tiny bit lighter than my skin color shade. So I'm just going in with this on my waterline and a tiny bit at the corner or end of the eye underneath, just to make them look a bit more bright and open. And when that is done, it's really only left to curl the eyes and do the mascara and maybe put on some lipstick or whatever you want on your lips, and that is all. So I'm gonna do my eyes and then I'm gonna show you what lipstick I'm using. But for my mascara, I'm using the Maybelline New York Lash Sensational. I've been using this for a long time and I'm on the hunt for a new one that's hopefully cruelty-free. So if you know of a brand that is as good and cruelty-free, please tell me in the comments. I would love to change this out. Leave it down below if you have some suggestions. The last step is the lips, and I'm going in with this, I think it's Misha lipstick or lip tint. I bought this whilst I was in Korea, so the label is a bit worn off, but I'm pretty sure it's Misha and the shade is Wish Stone Tint. It's a water gel. I think this is really cute. It's quite strong, so I don't go in too crazy with this one. I just start at the middle and then I work my way out on the lips. So there you go, that's the finished makeup look. I'm not gonna do anything more with this. Even though I went quite crazy with the blush, it doesn't look that much now anymore, now that I have the crazy yellow eyeshadow and my lips on. And I think it looks really nice together. I think the pink blush quite complements the yellow eyeshadow. I think they look really nice together. This is the finished look. I hope you enjoyed this makeup look, and if you did, remember to hit the thumbs up and comment down below. If you want to see more looks like this,